Hey everyone, it's Kendra Fletcher from Golden Years Money Management. And today I wanted to do a video to talk about freezing your credit reports. And I wanted to tell you how to do this, what it means, and why it's important, especially for seniors who are very vulnerable to having their credit stolen or identity theft, that kind of thing. So I wanted to take you back to why I thought about this initially. Is I was talking to my mom about a year ago, and she was telling me that she always pays for food at restaurants with cash because she doesn't want the server taking her credit card to away from the table where she can't see them in case they could steal her credit card number, which is actually a good thing to do. But I said to her, I said, Mom, if you're worried about identity theft or someone stealing your information, have you frozen your credit reports? And she said, I don't know what that means. So I actually just went to visit her last week and I said, we're going to take care of this. And it actually just makes me feel so much better knowing that this has been taken care of for her and for my stepdad, so we don't have to worry about it. So what does it mean to freeze your credit report? There are 3 bureaus that manage or that keep track of your credit. The bureaus are TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. So each of them start creating a file for you, and they start tracking your credit over time, and they each give you a credit score. So when you go to apply for a mortgage or a loan or to open a credit card, whoever you're applying with are going to check your credit against your credit report. So what can happen is there are people out there, not good people, who will actually apply for credit under your name. So if they can somehow get access to your social security number, your name, your address, they can go to Target or to a credit card company and apply for credit using your name and get a credit card in your name, which is identity theft. But it also creates a huge hassle to untangle on your credit report if that does happen to you. Now, it's not often that this happens, but you got to know that it can happen. So one thing the credit agencies offer now is to freeze your credit report, which means that no one can pull out credit in your name, including you, but it protects you from having unwanted credit being taken out with your social security number in your name and then going on your report and allowing people to do identity theft on you. So what does this mean? This means that you can freeze your credit at all 3 bureaus. It means while it's frozen, no one can get access to your credit or pull out credit in your name, including you. And I've had a freeze on my credit now for, I think it's probably been about 12 years. And what I do is there have been a few times where I needed to apply for credit, like when we were moving and getting a mortgage for our house. When I started this business, Golden Years Money Management, they had to pull my credit in order to give me a credit card for the business. So there have been times I needed credit. And what I do is I actually just go online and I lift my credit freeze for a specific period of time. So most of the time I've just lifted it for a week or 2. And you just log into their websites, you can lift that freeze so that the organizations can check your credit, and after that period of time that you specify, it's going to refreeze your credit report. And I just love having this for myself because I don't have to worry, I just don't have to worry about someone stealing my information. It does, yes, add a few extra steps when I apply for credit, but since I do that so infrequently, it's worth it to me to have that credit protection. And just so you know the alternatives, because I want to educate you so you know what your options are, there are credit monitoring services. So there are services that will monitor your credit report and alert you anytime credit is requested or if there's anything unusual. But most of these are going to cost you between $8 and $20 a month. And so for me, when I look at if I had paid for that for 12 years, that's it could have cost me over $1,500 to have the monitoring service, whereas freezing my report was much simpler. So that's why I chose that option. But I want you to know what is available to you. So this weekend when I was home with my mom and my stepdad, we went through the process of freezing their credit at all three bureaus. And so I just wanted to explain to you what the process is, and I'm also going to give you a free resource at the end of this video. So what you're going to do, if you want to do this, is you're going to go into Google and look up credit freeze for Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. And so you need to make sure that you're on their actual websites when you're doing the freeze, because there are other websites that I don't know what they do. They try to take your information or they charge you extra. So you want to go to the actual TransUnion website where you can do your freeze, Experian, and Equifax. And so you go into each of those, you put in your information. So you are going to put in your full name, your address, your social security number, your birth date. They're going to ask you some questions to verify that you are who you say you are. And then you can put a freeze on your account. And I meant to time it when I was doing it so I could tell you like how long it takes. I would say allow like 10 minutes per credit bureau, but I think it can be less. So it's going to take you a half hour or less to get the freeze on your accounts. And I do want to tell you the costs for that. So it's state regulated what the costs are in order to freeze your report, lift a freeze, and cancel it. So I'm going to tell you what the costs are in Florida. If you are 65 or older, there is no cost to freeze your reports. And so this is why it's a really important service for me to provide to seniors, because there's no cost to freeze your credit, lock it down. A lot of seniors aren't necessarily applying for credit at a lot of different places. So this is a great protection for them. And then it will cost $10 to lift a freeze. So if they are wanting to lift the freeze for a period of time, it's $10 per bureau. So that can potentially cost you $30. For people 64 and less, it's $10 per bureau to freeze it. And it's also $10 per bureau to lift it. So when you freeze it, it's going to cost you $30. And when you want to lift it, it will be $10 per bureau. What I do, like when I applied for credit at my bank recently for this business, is I ask them, I say, which credit bureau do you pull your reports from? So if they tell me we pull them from TransUnion, then I only have to unfreeze that one, so it's $10. And then if you're a victim of identity theft, you don't pay anything to freeze your reports, to lift the freezes, to cancel it. You don't have any cost. And these are the Florida costs, but in most states, it's true that if you're a victim of identity theft, you don't pay anything. So those are the costs. Like I said, it takes about 30 minutes or less to freeze up your reports. And now what I want to talk about is what you do to lift the freeze. Now, the important thing here is that when you freeze your reports, you're going to get a PIN number for each of the 3 credit bureaus. And you will need that PIN in order to lift the freeze, at least to lift it easily. If you lose your PIN, it's going to be more complicated. So when you get those PIN numbers, you want to put them in a safe spot. You want to know where they are so that when you're ready to lift the freeze, you can do it quickly and easily with that PIN number. For some of them, they will let you select the PIN. For others, they send it to you in the mail. But what I created for my business is this little handy dandy sheet where you can write who it's for. So if you have a spouse, you can each do this credit freeze for, and you write your name in there. And then it gives you space to write your PIN number for each of the 3 bureaus on this sheet. And then it also gives you the URL and the phone number if you want to lift that freeze at some point in the future. So I created this to give my clients. I'm also going to give it to you all for free. So I'm going to put the link below this video so that you can grab that as a service, because bottom line is, I do not want anyone to be a victim of identity theft, and it really frustrates me that there's people out there who try to take advantage of others. And my job as a daily money manager is to help educate people and to especially help seniors to protect themselves. So that's a little thing I made and I'm going to give to you. So that's a little bit about freezing your credit report. I really encourage you to consider doing this. And if you don't want to do it, consider getting a credit monitoring service. There's a lot of companies that offer it. You have to do a little research to find out which ones are the best. But I encourage that because a lot of people think, oh, I'm not going to be a victim of identity theft. I'm not out there in social media, or who would target me. But there are basically underground databases and people who track information and get them from different sources and hack into different systems, and your information is out there somewhere and you just don't want it to get into the wrong hands. And this is a very inexpensive and easy way to protect yourself. So that's why I'm sharing it today. Look below for the link to the sheet, and hope you have a fabulous day.